Hi there, today we're gonna roll out our first video of just camera testing, and the first big comparison will be between three smartphones, three flagships, Galaxy S20 Plus, Oppo Find X2 and Huawei P40 Pro. Let's make it straight, there will be no beauty modes, portraits, some video shooting during the night, but I'm gonna concentrate on the most demanding stuff in shooting capabilities. Welcome to Tech Fellas, mine is Bogdan, and let's tech into it. The sets of main cameras in the smartphones are different each in their own way. Let's start with the ultra-wide lenses. Oppo and Huawei share the same coverage width, but Oppo shoots in 4:3 aspect ratio and Huawei in 3:2. The only smartphone from this trinity that shows a significant increase in the viewing angle is S20 Plus. The other two have a slight difference comparing to their main lens. Huawei certainly takes the lead in drawing details of some objects simply because the resolution of its sensor is gigantic, which is 40 megapixels. The next shooting mode is zooming. In S20 Plus, it is software made, rest of the guys have optical one. If we talk about the clarity on distant objects, P40 Pro with its 5 times telephoto lens leaves both Samsung and Oppo way behind the track. As for daily use, such feature becomes controversial. 2x zoom could be a common thing for usage, but why, when and who would need 5 times magnifying is hard to imagine. Actually, I can imagine James Bond using that for spying, but certainly not an average person, unless in fun purposes. Over $1,000 of fun. Totally worth it. When comparing photos of Samsung and Oppo, you can spot how important optics is, and if cropping pics from Oppo Find X2, they look a bit cleaner, but overall there is no special differences between them. Now the main lens. Colors is the most prominent thing to check in these smartphones. In Samsung they are the most saturated. P40 Pro stood out from the rest with kinda other features, but there is nothing good in them. It seems that the settings of shooting were chosen by such photographers who would gladly drag these photos in Photoshop and spend the half of the day editing. They are lacking of sharpness and with pastel colors. Why dynamic range is so narrow is a certain question to Huawei engineers who, instead of fixing the problem, seemingly spent all the money and hired James Bond to find who stole it from Huawei P40 Pro. Next, it is just my need to scold everyone and everything for the fact that the photos from different back lenses of the same phone do not have any common approach in colors, cause they are dancing a lot, especially in difficult shooting conditions. In smartphones for over $1,000, not some show me for 100. Is that a laziness or the lack of testing before the launch? The answer is unknown. In brightest day, in blackest night, no drawback shall escape my sight. Night modes in all three flagships are generally the same. In fact, what we get is an HDR image with exposure bracketing to reveal details in shades and eliminate overexposure. But naturally, the results from each of the lenses are different. The main cameras in P40 Pro and S20 Plus cope with poor lighting well enough. Oppo is slightly behind in sharpness, but this is noticeable only on cropped photos. Overall, the pics are hardly different. Additional units screwed themselves in every phone. Ultra-wide one at night turned out the best in S20 Plus, the worst in my humble opinion in Huawei, although Oppo hasn't gone far from it, with slightly higher sharpness but with the same broken wheels. We also tried zooming. Guess what? The ultra-wide lens in Find X2 works more efficient than Huawei's 5 times zoom. However, Samsung's software crop did the best out of 3. Do you miss some action? Moving on to videos. The one taken on the main cameras basically have close issues as in photos, mainly in colors, narrow dynamic range in Huawei and micro jerks of software stabilization are different in every smartphone. Generally speaking, all the clips are smooth, sharp and without any special problem when adapting to changeable shooting conditions. If to choose, I mostly liked what we get from Samsung, cause switching between the standard camera and the ultra-wide angle gets you real advantage, and transition looks more elegant. Oppo changes lenses in a bit of abrupt way that doesn't look elegant at all, but at least you can shoot such videos. Unlike Huawei, that turned out very corny in this regard. Instead of buttons, the camera app forces us to use a slider that gives little chances to switch directly to the camera you need, and the crop is very annoying with noises and pixel fights. The only decision we found here is to choose the module before for shooting rather than adapting in process. Time for some social media stuff. These selfie cameras have about identical viewing angles, but in all other aspects we get into a triple trouble. If Galaxy S20 Plus boasts with dynamic range but is lacking of sharpness, Oppo has got all the sharpness in the world but without dynamic range. And only P40 Pro successfully plays both of that games at one time. At night, Samsung shots take the first place, following by Oppo and surprisingly leaving Huawei behind with the darkest picture. As for the war of noises, just saying, sharpness took hard punches in all three cases, although each smartphone shown a different way of blurring the picture. So this is it. You know, I don't see the point in summarizing all the stuff here, cause every previous line is basically a summary after the experience with each of those phones. All three have their strengths and weaknesses, so the choice of the best one is only up to you, your demands and priorities. Me and this channel is only a bridge to details and samples to taste. So if you like this video, then why not to support our channel by subscribing to it, hitting the like button and ringing the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching and cheers!